Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. In today's video, I'm sharing an updated homeschool library tour. If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Sarah and I'm a homeschooling mom to two girls, ages 12 and 15. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by once again. I do really appreciate you. Sorry, my voice might cut in and out. I am still getting over a cold, but here's what the library looks like overall. We have made a few changes to our homeschool library since I shared my last video on our library about a year ago. So I just thought I'd create an updated video to share some of those changes. Now we're going to start on the wall with the printer, and this is one of the changes that we've made. This wall used to be bare, and I decided to add one of our letter subscriptions to the wall as art. And this is the Writings from the Wild animal subscription that my youngest daughter just loves. So every month you get a letter about a new animal, and it just shares like facts and pictures of an animal every single month. And I decided to go ahead and pick out the animals that reminded me of fall since it is September. And I just thought that it would be a lot of fun to switch out these letters on the wall to kind of match the seasons. So when winter rolls around, I will pull out like our polar bear letter and our penguin letter and anything that reminds me of winter and just switch them out according to the seasons. I think that that is just going to be so much fun, and I love the way that it looks and that these letters are still, you could still use them. My kids can still walk up, see the beautiful picture, read the entire letter. And I just think that this was a great addition to our homeschool library. But another thing that we changed was the actual printer stand. Now, the printer stand that I used to have was actually not a printer stand at all. It was just like a rolling utility cart. And every single time I would use my printer, the entire cart would shake, and it made me really nervous because my printer is a pretty large printer. So I finally just, broke down and decided to purchase an actual printer stand. And so far, I am loving it. We've only had it for about a month, but it doesn't shake when I print. I like that it's small enough for this space. And also what I love about this is that it does have a little table that you can pull in and out on the side, so that if you don't want this table out all the time, you can just push it in to save space. And I really love this feature. So far it's working out really, really well. Again, I have only had this for about a month, but I'm loving this printer stand so far. Okay, so now let's take a look at the books. I use a colored dot system to keep our books organized. I like that this colored dot system makes it easy for anyone to find the books that they are looking for and to put those books away in the correct spot. I have a lot of books, you guys, and if I don't have some kind of system in place, this would be a complete mess, and it would be so hard to find anything in this home library if I didn't have some kind of system in place to help keep it organized. But each colored dot represents a different subject or reading level. And I do have a little guide in the drawer up here just in case anyone forgets what color is what subject or what reading level. So there's like a little cheat sheet or guide up here as well. But this system has been working for us for years. I started doing this when my kids were in elementary school because I wanted them to have some independence when it came to picking out their books. And it kind of made it easier for me to tell them, go look in the red dot section that those books are in your reading level. Or, oh, you want to read something about history, go look in the white section. So it really made things easier for me when my kids were younger. I mean, now that my kids are in middle school and high school, this dot system isn't necessarily for their reading level anymore because they can pretty much read all of the books in here now comfortably. But when they were younger, it just made it easier for them to pick out books in their reading range or their reading level. That way they weren't picking out books that were too hard and they couldn't get through them alone or anything like that. So that's kind of why I started this, was to help give my kids independence in picking out books within their reading range. But now I kind of just keep it going to help keep the books organized by subject as well. So let's go ahead and go over what these different colored dots mean and what subject they represent. So this very top shelf, this doesn't have any dots on them because those are like my books that I don't want my kids to read. It's also some photo albums and some old curriculum I'm not willing to part with. But this light blue section, this is poetry, art, and music. I do like to keep all of those together. And then we have cookbooks. These don't have dots on them only because I just added this section recently. Now over here, these gold dots, these are our holiday books. Now we add to our holiday books every single year. So this one just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And then we have the white dots, which are history, geography, and biographies. I am thinking about making these sections a little bit smaller and color coordinating this section because there's a lot of books in our history, geography, and biography section, especially because I have a ton of Who Was books. Down here we have the black dot sections. These are reference books, or at least the reference books that we use the most. And then we have our green dot section, which is science books. This is one of my kids' favorite sections, is the science section. And then I do just have a few like random things on the shelf as well. And then there is our TV. And then we have our purple dot section over here. This is comics and graphic novels. This is probably the section my kids read the most. And then right on the end of this one, we just have a couple of pop-up books. They don't have dots on them because I only have 4. I only have 4 of those. And then down here, these are more of like the beginning reader or early reader type books. Oh, that's just a stack of books I need to put away. But this dark blue section, these are like the early readers, like Elephant and Piggy, Dr. Seuss, Pete the Cat. Those are all in here. And then we have our orange dot, which is picture books. This is one of my favorite sections. I love picture books. And then the red dot section is early chapter books. Now, before we move on to the last section, let's go ahead and take a look at the cabinets. I wasn't going to show you inside the cabinets, so they might be a little messy. This side is just like photos. And then in here we have coloring books and extra like pens, markers, crayons, things like that in this drawer. And then in the cabinets right below this, I keep all of kind of like my teacher supplies. The teacher supplies are like my binding machine, my hole punch, my kids' past work. There's some DVD players, my laminators down there. There's a little radio, as you can see, my paper cutter. So this is kind of like a cabinet filled with my stuff. It's a little messy right now, but that's where I keep my stuff. We have our fireplace. And then on this side, I like to keep a lot of our extra school supplies. So this just has like extra tape, pens, my label maker, glue, just a ton of extra school supplies. And then this is kind of like our bulk school supply section. Some of our crafting stuff is down here. So we have extra school supplies down here. We have like candle making, soap making. I think there's diamond art in here. There's extra science supplies. I mean, just a ton of random craft stuff. Now this drawer is where I keep some of my kids' completed work until I file it away. And then here is like some of our kits. This is like our virtual reality sets, our fossil kit, a couple of subscription boxes that we haven't gone through. I just like to have a space for them just in case. And then we have the kids' yoga mats because they do yoga up here, and a board that's really outdated. As you can see, it still says Happy New Year and it's September. And then here's our last section. This is our yellow dot or fiction section. As you can see, this is what it used to look like. There used to be a mirror here with 3 shelves, but we ended up changing it because I needed more room for books. So my husband took down the mirror and added shelving all the way up to the ceiling. And the books on the very top in this section are books that I don't want my youngest daughter to read on her own, but it's not necessarily because she can't read them. It's more a little bit more mature content in them. And then this section here is actually the shelf of books that we're reading this school year. So there's a combination of, white dots and yellow dots on that one. This is a little gap. We have a lot of books in bedrooms, so that gap actually won't be there by the end of the school year. But all of these yellow dot books on the rest of these shelves are all of our fiction books that my kids can read when they're comfortable and confident readers. These are larger chapter books and books that are a little bit harder to read, higher reading level. But that is what our homeschool library looks like. I'm so happy that my husband added this extra shelving for that yellow dot section, and I'm really happy with the printer cart update. But that is it for today. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day. Bye.